Lack of affordable housing, one of the biggest issues facing New York City. Now, Mayor Adams is hoping to turn things around with a wildly ambitious plan to build 500,000 homes over the next decade.
Fox 6's Morgan McKay.
Again, what's up with the budget? 500,000 houses over the next decade. Now, did they say who these houses are for? My advice to people from New York City would be to do everything that you can to block the progress of these houses being built until you have a commitment of how many of those houses are going to be built for American New Yorkers. That would be my advice. And when I say do everything that you can to block those, of course, I mean nonviolent and within legal means. Of course, that's what I mean. You shouldn't have to say that, but I'm making sure that people understand that. So if somebody does something crazy and they try to say that they heard it here first, you didn't. You know what I'm saying? So now my question to you guys is, how is this going to get accomplished with the budget issues that they have in New York? Do you guys notice how they keep talking about the budget? We don't have money for this. We don't have money for that. And then miraculously, they have multi-million and multi-billion-dollar projects that just sprout up out of nowhere during the same time when they had a budgetary issues. If you guys notice that, then give me a thumbs up. If you guys don't notice that, then give me a thumbs down.
Sat down with the city's deputy mayor in an exclusive interview to talk about how the administration is tackling this housing crisis. Morgan.
Steve, Natasha, there are numerous reasons why the city is facing a housing shortage, but there are a few proposals the city needs state lawmakers to tackle this year if they are even to get close to that goal.
As daunting as this housing crisis is,
that's facts, Mike. Shout out to Michael R. That's facts.
It's a city with more than 8 million people, but the lack of housing supply has led to astronomically high rents. In just the last decade, housing costs skyrocketed by more than 68%, according to a recent report.
Now, why are New Yorkers dealing with this, and migrants aren't facing this? Let me ask you guys a question: how are migrants responding to this skyrocketing cost of houses? In homes, apartments. How are they dealing with this? Somebody make it make sense. Free housing? You know what I'm saying? Make it make sense.
By the state comptroller.
Over the past decade, we've added about 800,000 jobs, Morgan, but only 200,000 new homes.
The Adams administration has created a new goal to build 500,000 new homes over the next decade. But there are a series of hurdles that would first need to be addressed. And those hurdles are based up in all.
Make sure you guys show Torian some love. Throw some flames and radiation emoji in the chat for Torian. Facts. They aren't dealing with this. That's the absolute correct answer. They aren't dealing with this. They're getting the red carpet treatment. Facts. If you guys agree with Torian, give me a thumbs up. If you disagree with Torian, give me a thumbs down. And that right there is what I'm talking about. Exactly, DC Precise. They're getting their gifts. They're getting their gifts. Shout out to DSA and shout out to Brooklyn Queen. What's going on with it? Facts.
Albany. Last year, Governor Kathy Hochul pitched an ambitious housing plan that received
shout out to Tia. What's good with it, Tia?
In the end, state lawmakers couldn't come to an agreement with the governor, and all parties walked away accomplishing nothing major on housing.
What we cannot have is another session where all of our aspirations.
Facts. That's absolute facts. Shout out to Torian. Torian said, however, their cops are case in point. NYPD cops being jumped by the South of the Bordarians a few days ago and getting away with it. Big facts. And you know, Kathy Hochul even said that she feels that those people should get deported. Now, how you going to deport anybody and you don't turn New York City into a sanctuary, or you don't turn New York City into a sanctuary city and turn New York State into a sanctuary state? And that's a fact. That's a great question. Shout out to Crew Reality. Can you afford a home with those 800K new jobs? You know what I'm saying? I hate when I do that. Yeah, you can join locals if you want to. That'd be great. Matter of fact, shout out to Jab Bad in here. Jab Bad is a locals member, man. Make sure y'all show Jab Bad some love. Throw some radiation emoji and some flames in the chat.
and awareness of this housing crisis don't translate into real actions.
In an exclusive interview with Deputy Mayor Maria Torres Springer, she outlines a list of proposals the mayor's administration is looking from Albany this year to create more housing. At the top of the list is to use already existing buildings, mainly office buildings.
There's more than 100 million square feet of outdated office space. And what that could translate into are 20,000 new homes for New Yorkers.
However,
Facts.
this requires two things from the state legislature: zoning changes.
Facts. Big facts. If you guys agree with Torian, give me a thumbs up. If y'all disagree, give me a thumbs down. Torian said Kathy wants to deport them now that their precious cops got them hands and feet put on them. Let them have been regular citizens. Kathy would have been singing a different tune. Facts. Super facts, bro. Super facts.
And tax incentives.
The floor plates don't always lend themselves to easy conversions. There are rules on the books in terms of light and air requirements.
One big tax incentive that was allowed to expire is 421A. It was put in place 50 years ago and requires developers to make a certain percentage of units affordable. But it's extremely controversial, and left-leaning lawmakers say it is a giveaway to big developers. But without it, Torres Springer says housing projects are at risk of being stalled.
There are tens of thousands of units that can hang in the balance.
So look at this. So they have issues in New York City just simply getting housing built. They have issues in New York City just simply getting housing together for the citizens of New York. And yet they're doing all of this stuff for migrants. Make this make sense. Seriously, guys. Make it make sense. Can anybody justify any of this? It doesn't make any sense whatsoever.
We can and we should have healthy debates over the structure of the said tax incentive. But also part of our job is to make sure at the end of that process, we have real tools that bring real relief to New Yorkers.
Some lawmakers are looking to replace it by requiring that developers dedicate a larger number of units as affordable. Other lawmakers want to see tenant protections added into a housing package, such as good cause eviction.
So now here, look, so they have to add in good cause eviction, right, to protect the tenants of New York City, right? And then on top of it, they want them to designate some of these units as affordable. Now here goes my question: who's going to be living in those? Who's going to be affording those? Because most of these people, they can't afford any of this housing whatsoever, and they're ending up getting evicted. There's a whole eviction crisis going on here. But now, again, all of these people who are coming into New York City as migrants, migrant shelter, undocumented bros, you know what I'm saying? They don't have to deal with any of these issues. Now, here goes my question. When these people that are dealing with this affordable housing crisis, when things fall through for them and they don't have money and can't keep up with their rent, where is their safety net? Where are they going to go? Let me know what you guys think in the comment section. Where are they going to go?
This bill would require landlords to produce a reason to evict
Shout out to
tenants
Lehman
and
Lucas.
would
What's good with it,
restrict
bro?
rent increases. The Adams administration won't say definitively if they will back the measure that's on the table, but left it open-ended.
We need to get to yes on a package that makes sense, that protects tenants, that boosts supply, that keeps in mind the particular needs, for example, of small landlords.
Now, the Adams administration is also looking to state lawmakers to legalize basement apartments and to lift the cap on density to allow for new construction. Steve, Natasha?
Yeah, Morgan, a very ambitious plan. Do you think they can come to an agreement? Anything can be done this year?
So everyone agrees this is a year for housing, but the state legislature is a little bit further left than the governor, so tenant protections are really important for them. But housing negotiations last year completely fell apart, and everyone walked away from the table without accomplishing anything. And this two state legislative leaders released a statement at the end of the legislative session last year, pretty critical of the governor for not coming to an agreement with them on things like tenant protections. But this year, there does seem to be more of an appetite to get things.
So now pay attention to this, right? The Governor Kathy Hochul is not about tenant protections for the people of New York City, but they're all about the tenant protections and the eviction extensions for the migrants. Do you guys see the problem with this? If you guys see the problem with this, give me a thumbs up. If you guys don't see the problem with this, give me a thumbs down. These are the kind of issues that are not even being discussed when it comes to talking about this migrant crisis. Somebody make this make sense.
done, but it has to be done before the end of March. It has to be done within this budget negotiations. Otherwise, it's unlikely to get done before the end of the year.
And obviously, the landlords are going to have a lot to say to the changes to good cause evictions, limiting rent increases and whatnot.
Exactly. Now, Governor Kathy Hochul was super against it last year, good cause eviction, as well as Mayor Eric Adams. So
you guys heard what the news lady said, right? Why would Kathy Hochul and Eric Adams were against the good cause eviction thing for New Yorkers, private renters? They're okay with it being the wild, wild west for migrants. Make it make sense.
Say to the changes to good cause evictions, limiting rent increases and whatnot.
Exactly. Now, Governor Kathy Hochul was super against it last year, good cause eviction, as well as Mayor Eric Adams. So this is one that's going to be a big hang up for them because it's going to impact smaller landlords being able to raise their rent. So we're going to see how that works out. They're probably going to have to come to some sort of negotiation on this. I don't see a housing package without some sort of tenant protections being passed in the state legislature this year. But again, the governor really loses her power after the budget negotiations end. So they're going to be really looking to finish this up before beginning of March or April.
Yeah, a lot of work to do and not a lot of time left. All right, very well, Morgan.
So there's that.